Hi, welcome back. Ashley here. Today we are moving forward in our program of yoga, Kriya, for lesson 2. We're going through lesson 2. As a reminder, we're working with this massive book called A Systematic Course in the Ancient Tantric Techniques of Yoga and Kriya. And we've completed lesson 1, which included an introduction to Gela Netting, which is the cleaning of the nasal passages. I had already written a blog about that many years ago, and so if you haven't already read it, you might want to, because they use it often throughout this book, Gela Netting. I've included the link in the blog if you want to reread it. It is a very long blog because I copied basically word for word, cited this book for Gela Netting, but take your time with it. We also discovered pranayama. Our first pranayama breathing exercise was the 3-part yogic breath. And then we did some pre-meditative exercises to loosen the joints of the hips, knees, and ankles so that we can sit in a comfortable position. And then we added some yoga poses to help relieve tension of the body. That included nakasana, which is also called boat pose, when you come up into a V, and shavasana, also called a corpse pose, when you just lie down and you integrate everything that you've done. Right? So that's what we've done so far over a period of about a month. And we're moving on to lesson 2. So what does lesson 2 entail? It includes some yogic cleanses, primarily focused on the head for today. It also includes more meditation asanas, like seating postures that you can use to meditate, as well as a few other asanas, postures, that we're going to learn, including cat-cow, Marjariyasana, and some others. And then we also discuss more pranayama and some mental programming things to help us with to relax. So today, this video is just focused on Hatha Yoga, something called Danta Dhauti, which is cleanses, right? So I'm going to read just a tiny bit from this first paragraph of the book and review a few things with you, and then just generally go over the few cleanses that they have recommended. I've been practicing them for a couple of days, and so I have an opinion about them. But first, I'll just read this first paragraph. So it says that Danta Dhauti, one of the shatkarmas, consists of a series of simple practices which clean various organs and regions of the head. Again, what are shatkarmas? So yogic science gives as much importance to certain cleansing processes as it does to the asanas, the postures, and the pranayama, the breathing. Yogic science believes that if your system isn't cleaned out, then you won't be able to gain the maximum benefits from your practice. And so without purification of the body, one will not be ready for the higher practices that occur later in the book, right? So this is why it's kind of important that we do these cleanses, or at least attempt a few of them, because when the body is free from toxins or blockages, and the mind is free from the same thing. So shatkarmas are also called the 6 purificatory, did I say that right? Techniques. And they include Gela Netting, which I've just discussed, which is the cleaning of the nose, and Dhauti, which is the cleaning of the digestive tract, Nali, which is abdominal massage, Basal, which is colon cleansing, Kapalabhati, which is purification and vitalization of the frontal lobes of the brain, and Tradaka, which is blinkless gazing. I know none of that makes sense right now, but my point is that we're going to get to discover all of those things. I know you're excited about the colon cleansing part, right? But it's going to wait. Just kidding. Okay, so today, Danta Dhauti. Danta means teeth, and Dhauti in Sanskrit means wash, and mula means root. Mula is the only one I really want you to memorize, because we will use that one often also in yoga. But in other words, then Danta Mula Dhauti is the cleaning of the teeth and the root and the gums, right? So what it's recommending in the book, the first practice is to use toothpaste and clean your teeth, right? They actually talked about herbs that they use. to clean their teeth, but they said that this method is probably impractical for most people. If this is the case, then use a soft bristle brush to clean the teeth and try to clean the brush as often as possible. The gums should be cleaned with the index finger, making a hard rubbing motion over both the inner and outer gums. You should try to clean your teeth at least twice every day, and even better after each meal, especially within the first 30 minutes of eating a meal. They mentioned that somewhere in this, I read it somewhere, because that's when it causes the most damage to your teeth, that first 30 minutes, when it starts to like break down and like the sugars get into the gums. So what I've been doing is trying to brush my teeth now after every meal. I know that that's been recommended since we were children by our dentist, but how many of us actually do it? Raise your hand. No, I didn't think so. I didn't. But it also mentions that it's, if possible, to find a toothpaste that has the substances that they recommend, and usually those toothpastes can be found at Ayurvedic pharmacies and macrobiotic food stores. I did some Google researching in my area and found a few things. Like, obviously there's Banyan Botanicals and Mountain Rose Herbs. Those are websites that I've always adored for herbs and things, but you can find some of these Ayurvedic toothpastes in Whole Foods, for example. So they do recommend using one that has, that isn't too abrasive, right? So in general, the first cleanse is brush your teeth. Not a big deal. Let's move on. The second one is called Jiva Mula Dhauti. Shiva means tongue, and Mula obviously means root, so it's the cleaning of the tongue. This is the important part, so I'm going to read this, okay, because this part's important. The tongue is a vital organ of the body, yet very few people ever seriously think about cleaning it. All of us have at some time or another noticed a thick layer of yellow slime on the upper surface of the tongue, especially when we feel a little under the weather. This coating on the tongue actually consists of impurities that have been removed from the body. It indicates that there is some inner disorder or accumulation of toxins that the body is desperately trying to expel. Failure to remove the impurities on the tongue can aggravate ailments within the body, particularly digestive problems. I agree. So if you go looking at your tongue right now, is it white? Is it covered in something? Does your breath feel kind of like meh? If so, you need to clean your tongue. Obviously your teeth too, but definitely your tongue. I personally use one of those copper things that are shaped like this, and then I just scrape my tongue. I can't find it right now, which I'm having an issue with. I don't know where it disappeared to. I had left and gone to Peru, and then I came back and it's missing, which is so strange. But apparently there's a technique that we can use that doesn't require that, and it's making your fingers like this, like this, and then reaching back there and rubbing the back of your tongue and kind of pulling your nails and stuff very softly, like forward, and just removing all that gunk. I did it. It's weird. I'm not a big fan. I'm going to go find my little metal thingy that scrapes my tongue. But apparently that's an option for you, is to like take your fingers just like this, push them in the back of the mouth as far towards the back of the throat as possible without, retching, and then rub the tongue slowly and thoroughly for a few minutes, and then simultaneously try to cough out any phlegm or other impurities in the throat. They recommended that we do it before breakfast, because that way if we do accidentally kind of like choke a little bit, we're not going to throw up food. So that's an option. I know what you're thinking. You're like, no thanks. But if that's how you feel like me, then just get a scraper. And trust me, if you've never used one of those like little metal scrapers, I'm going to maybe find one online and post it in the blog for you to kind of like look at. They're really great. You just like scrape all that stuff off your tongue and your mouth feels so great. The next one is called Kapalrandra, excuse me if I'm just butchering these words, Dhauti. And Kapalrandra is the upper hollowed region of the head, which can be clearly seen on a newborn baby. So it's this section right here, right? And it's telling us that one must merely wash the head vigorously and thoroughly with cold water. And that's it. And I've been thinking about how cold baths really invigorate us. So maybe if you are taking a warm hot bath, or a warm hot shower rather, throw on some cold water there for a second and just really like let it hit this part of your skull, even if it's just for a second, and then get warm again if you want to. But it's really invigorating in the morning, and I highly recommend it. I did it today for the first time in a long time, and I think I'll do it every single day. So please let me know how you feel afterwards. And then the last couple ones, there's one called Karna Dhauti. This one is cleaning the ears. So far, obviously, we're focused on the head, right? We're focusing on cleaning the nose with Gela Netting. We're focusing on cleaning the teeth and rubbing the gums, and then the tongue, And now we're moving into the ears. Most of us use Q-tips. They recommend if you don't have a Q-tip and you have short nails to use your pinky finger and just kind of go like this a little bit, clean it out, do the other one, and do it once a week. Because we need to make sure that our senses are fully active, that we're able to hear everything, right? And the last one is called Chakshu Dhauti, which is the practice of cleaning the eyes with lukewarm water whenever time permits. So in this topic, again, we're concerned with practices which bring about the best possible health of the head region and associated organs. And then they kind of talk about how defective vision, such as myopia, short-sightedness, or long farsightedness, are generally caused by mental strain or excessive use of the eyes, particularly while reading, things like that. And that the other is due to disease. And that one yogic practices can help to eliminate and prevent either of the two types of eye ailments. That's what they say. So in a general sense, regular practice of asanas and pranayama are wonderful methods of counteracting eye ailments, for they eliminate toxins from the body. Further, the mental relaxation that one can obtain through all yoga practices counteracts eye strain, even while reading a book or doing work which involves deep concentration. In this way, functional defects are less likely to occur. All right, so there we go. We've learned that for this next section of our book, on a daily basis, we are supposed to clean our nose with Gela Netting, which, just so you know, Gela Netting has definite beneficial influences on the eyes. It stimulates the nerves of the eyes, which in turn activates and tones the associated muscles and organs. The blood flow to the eyes is also increased for a short duration, which helps to flush out impurities and toxins. We have learned to clean our teeth, our gums, and our tongue, and all that stuff. This last practice is called cupping of the eyes, the palming, and I love it. So all you do is you sit comfortable and close your eyes and your face, and put your face in the sun, and just feel the sun on your face for a little bit in the morning. So again, you've done all your cleansing, you've done Gela Netting, you've cleaned your teeth, all that wonderful stuff, and you're going now and you're standing in front of your window and you're shutting your eyes and you're feeling the sun on your face for just a moment, and then you take your hands and you rub them together, just like that. And then you place your palms, once they're really warm, and you've kind of done it vigorously and it's getting warm and hot, you place your palms over your closed eyes and you feel the warmth and the energy entering the eyes. And you do this for a minute or so. And then maybe repeat 2 or 3 times. And then you just take your fingers down your face like that, and it feels really good. It feels just like it helps you really get grounded and present for your day before you meditate or do yoga. And then there was another one about practicing strengthening the eyes by looking at the tip of your nose and then focusing far off in the distance like a drishti, and looking there for a moment, far off on the horizon, and then back to your nose, and then into the distance. So those are the exercises. I'll kind of write them out in our blog, just in general terms, like clean your teeth, clean your gums, things like that. And even if you don't do all of them, I recommend that you do a couple. I definitely recommend that you do Gela Netting. I definitely recommend that you add a little bit of cold water to your shower and wash the top of your head, or rinse it with just cold water for a moment and invigorate the body. It's also good for the skin. It's good for the heart. It gets the blood circulating. And I recommend cupping the eyes, palming them, and of course brushing your teeth and cleaning your tongue. I'm not a big fan of doing it the way that they recommended, but it's whatever. So we're going to do those practices, aren't we? And the next time we meet up here on the blog, I will have a lecture for you. And the lecture is talking about, again, asanas, and the meaning of the word asana, the Sanskrit word asana, and basically how the mind and body, their health is related to all of that. So let me know if you experience any of these recommendations, anything new, maybe if you try them, and what you feel while you're doing them. All right, talk soon. Bye-bye.